Kolmogorov Complexity and Richard Sutton. Sutton is basically saying that true intelligence is a Kolmogorov complex in a Gödelian way. I'm sorry for this a handful, but I'm going to try to explain this. So, Kurt Gödel says that a system cannot explain itself from within. Basically, we can have truths that are not provable. So, in more simple terms, it says that a system of mathematics and arithmetic, the system that we use to for our computers and for our engineering endeavors ever since the scientific revolution took off. So this system has limits in terms of provability and in terms of what it can actually, with 100% certainly assert, and that has of course not deterred us from pursuing amazing things, bridges, computers, rockets, all kinds of things, and we can live with it because we can never prove that the Golden Gate Bridge will not collapse ever, but we can have high certainty, and the life of probability and the life of technology is basically paved on the cobbles of probability. Now, what does Richard Sutton have to do with this? So I think Sutton's idea of continuous learning and a system of simple rules that expose to a non-stationary environment over time becomes intelligent, superhuman intelligent, whatever intelligence you want to use. I'm using Marcus Hutter's definition of intelligence, so a quantifiable way to say that an agent can pursue more and more goals with the least amount of algorithmic overhead necessary to pursue those goals. So in that sense, that kind of intelligence can be increased, even though it cannot be formally proven and therefore also not formally programmed. So people like David Deutsch rightly say, or even Naval Ravikant, when he says, show me how to program creativity, please, in other words, kind of cynically saying, look, we don't know how to program creativity, and I think we can't. That's not possible, because it has a Kolmogorov complexity that gets into Gödelian territory. So in other words, we can't. It's impossible to ever program creativity. So what we can do, though, is, and we spoke about this, the many worlds interpretation of AI, is build many random artificial worlds through video generation, embedded in real data and used in real generative context. And a system like that can, over time, have an agent iterate through all these possible worlds with simple rules, acquire a very high level of intelligence. That's the idea. So I also want to use Stefan Wolfram's point of computational irreducibility, because it's the same idea coming from a different angle. It just means that, let's say, a superhuman intelligence that is trained in a Suttonian way will have computational irreducibility. We will not be able to squeeze that type of intelligence into some sort of shortcut formula, or we can't make it Kolmogorov less complex. It has to actually iterate through all the iterations, and hopefully it has the right reward function to generate the kind of intelligence that we want. That is up to us. That is what we control. We control the reward function design. We control the goal setting, but the path towards that actual, the path towards that goal, the path towards where it's actually going to lead and how it's going to evolve through the non-stationary environment, that path is up to its own iteration with the many worlds, and then the appropriate reward functions will eventually get it to act in a very intelligent way. Thank you.